starving her war industries and demoralizing her people. Would allow the Allies time to build, in Britain, a gigantic arsenal of men and weapons.
Which made him so very emaciated that many people, to their own regret, had to stay away from his performance because they couldn't bear to look at him. For he was also so skeletal, out of dissatisfaction with himself, because he alone knew something that even initiates didn't know, how easy it was. About this, he did not remain silent, but people did not believe him. At best, they thought he was being modest.
He had to accept all that.
Over the years, he had become accustomed to it. But this dissatisfaction kept gnawing at his insides all the time, and never yet, and this one had to say to his credit, had he left the cage of his own free will after any period.
He left the cage. He left the cage. He left the cage.
Would allow the Allies time to build, in Britain, a gigantic arsenal of men and weapons.
If I had found that, believe me, I would not have made a spectacle of myself, and would have eaten to my heart's content, like you and everyone else. Those were his last words, but in his failing eyes there was the firm, if no longer proud, conviction that he was continuing to
All right. And they buried the hunger artist along with the straw. But in his cage they put a young panther. Even for a person with the dullest mind, it was clearly refreshing to see this wild animal throwing itself around in this cage, which had been dreary for such a long time. And they buried the hunger artist. The hunger artist. The hunger artist.
It enjoyed the taste, and never seemed to miss its freedom. This noble body, equipped with everything necessary, almost to the point of bursting, also appeared to carry freedom around with it. But they controlled themselves. Controlled themselves.
Themselves. Themselves.
And its joy in living came with such strong passion from its throat that they controlled themselves.
Kept pressing around the cage and had no desire to move on, but they controlled themselves.
End of A Hunger Artist by Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka. Franz Kafka.